this September, God was laying it on our hearts and the leadership team here at Hope City that we needed to prepare for something. That we just needed to get some things ready. And actually, even earlier this year, God was already preparing our church for some great things. In fact, this year, we celebrated our 2nd year anniversary. That was such a fun day. Ginny and Pam, I love these people. Some people, I love all of you guys, but this is a great picture, and they're in it, so I love them. And here's the deal, we celebrated our 2nd year anniversary. We're like, woo, this is a big deal, right? It's a huge deal. And then this past year, we also sponsored Tatum Ridge's first ever Day for Hope. We sponsored 70 plus kids and their families. We cared for them. We helped them get ready for school, haircuts, dental exams, eye exams. They left with pounds and pounds of food for their pantry. We took care of people and helped these kids get ready for school in a way that was honoring to them. 3 weeks ago, we baptized 8 people here, right over here in this very room. Over the course of this year, in 2019, we've dedicated 12 kids to the Lord and their families. We've seen sisterhood take off with over 155 women at a sisterhood brunch several weeks ago. Sisterhood nights, they're seeing on average somewhere between 80 and 90 women gathering together. Hope City family, I can't talk enough about. It's just overrun with kids. You guys need a TV. But there are, on average, every single weekend, on average at Hope City Church, we see 130 to 150 kids a weekend. It's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. Hope City Youth has blossomed in its first year. We just celebrated its anniversary this September. On average, we see about 35 to 45 students on a weekend at Hope City Youth Nights. Pastor Justin is doing an amazing job. In fact, he's at a senior high retreat right now. And here's why I tell you all this stuff. God is doing something incredible in our church, in your church. Listen, we're not all about numbers here. We really aren't. Every number, though, has a name, and every name has a story. And every story matters to God, which is why it matters to us. It matters to me that we know that there's 130 kids because your kids have a name and it matters, and we love them. All of this matters. And I'm telling you this, that it came around September when I was like, what if? What if there was more? What if we could, and we started to imagine, what if we could imagine a permanent home? What could we do with a permanent home? What if we could do? We could imagine worship nights and youth nights and family movie nights and community events and any number of other things that we could potentially do to be for Sarasota, to be the good news of great joy for this city. And we started thinking about all of those moments, those heartbeats, and I'll tell you what, it's so exciting. And then I made some phone calls. And I started to actually talk and think about it and prepare and process and ask questions and talk to lenders and talk to all kinds of things. And I was looking into a permanent space, and I started looking around, and I found out that in order to move into a permanent home, that we were going to need about $500,000 in the bank. And that would be what we would need to secure a space. In fact, it would really just be one of the first major hurdles for us to do that and move towards a permanent home. I don't know about you, but $500,000 is a lot of money to me, and it's a lot of money to our church. It was like the air got sucked out of my lungs. It was as discouraging as probably any of the days that we've had since we launched this church. After making some of those calls, I came home and I talked to Tiffany, and I was like, well, that'll never happen. Because that's ridiculous, in the words of Will Ferrell from Elf. But so the best way for me to describe this is that it was like I walked into a dark room where I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see the hand in front of my face, could see nothing. And I said, I don't see how this is possible. And yet there was this gnawing sense on my soul that God really wasn't done, though, that there was still more. In fact, that there was something that was going to be happening, but I just needed to keep watching and keep waiting. And several weeks later, it was a Thursday afternoon. I'll never forget that on Thursday afternoon, on this day, I received a phone call. And the phone call on the other end of the line, it says, "Is this Pastor Goweski?" And I said, "Yes." "Well, this is Paul from Edward Jones Investments. And I wanted to let you know that I've been instructed to send Hope City Church $250,000. And I go, "Matt, Justin, is this you?" Immediately, I was like, come on. And I wiped my eyes, pulled myself together, and we realized that we were in the midst of a moment. We were in the midst of a God-sized moment, one like we've never seen before. Like, this is one of these moments where God was on the move. He was taking action. When I called to thank the individuals who gave this check, they gave this offering to our church, they said, "I want you to know two things. The first thing I want you to know is that you can never outgive God, okay? You can't outgive God. And the second thing I want you to know is we want your church to know that they can do it." That's right, did you catch that? Very important. This couple doesn't even attend Hope City Church. They don't live here. They're not impacted by this. But they know something. They've seen just what our church is doing and what our church is about, that we exist for Sarasota, that our heart beats after what God's heart beats after. And they said, we want to participate in that. We want to do something that we believe is going to be our legacy that lives on even beyond us through Hope City Church and your people. Guys, can you believe this? Hope City has been given $250,000 towards the process of finding a permanent home. God is so incredibly good. We got to hear it, right? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.